Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ask an Event Pro. This is your host, Francisco, product evangelist at Events.com. Today's show, we have Courtney Jordan. She's Director of Event Production, at Tough Mudder. And we will be discussing with her ways to getting the most out of offering teams for your races. Courtney, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, Courtney. So, Courtney, we'll jump right into it if you don't mind. I have a really fun question for you. What's the one tool, digital or otherwise, that you couldn't live without on race day?
So my initial answer to that would probably be my fanny pack, but that's probably not the most useful tool for everybody. But I think good communication is key to success in any form of event that you're doing, and for that to happen, it's the trusty radio. Radio communication for us is key to keeping our staff on time, keeping our operations moving, ensuring that as an event director, I have complete understanding of everything that's going on at the event. Utilizing our radio system is totally key to that. So we operate under the incident command system, which is essentially just like a big tree. I sit at the top of that tree, and I have managers across the event, from a base area registration manager to a course supervisor to a construction manager, that sit across that control channel. Throughout an event day, they're constantly in communication with me on that channel with all my managers, and that allows us to be able to understand if there's an issue that might need resolution or it might need more resources sent to it. Utilizing our radios and making sure that that's the piece of communication that keeps the ship moving forward is definitely the tool I couldn't live without on event day, and it is the piece that I think continually across various event formats, be it a running race, be it a Tough Mudder, or triathlon. It's definitely the most common tool that I think you'll find most event directors 1,000% relying on.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that, that's pretty common. A lot of people would say that that's one of the tools they couldn't live without. But you may have seen me kind of get excited there at the beginning. Early on in the show, when we first started, having these types of questions, I would bring up the fanny pack, and finally people would tell me, no one wears a fanny pack anymore. Stop saying that. So I'm so excited that you still wear a fanny pack. Oh, yeah. I can totally see the value of it.
Yeah, my whole team, but that's where the radios hook on to. So it's a really important piece for the most important tool,
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Courtney, so again, for those that are just maybe joining us, today's topic of discussion is getting the most out of offering teams. So Courtney, we'd like to know, how do you encourage team participation during the initial discovery or registration process? So maybe someone that's just on your site, window shopping still, they're not sure if they want to do Tough Mudder events or another type of mob event. What are some of the ways that you encourage team participation?
So I think one thing is that the Tough Mudder brand is very much about bringing together people of all ages, walks of life, athletic abilities that are just looking to challenge themselves at an event that's really unique. And Tough Mudder is an event, yes, but it's more than that. It's a community of very like-minded people who share common values. And I think our community knows that Tough Mudder is not a race, and it is a challenge. And that sense of challenge can come in various forms. Maybe it's funky monkey for one person who's really trying to push their upper body strength. Maybe it's 10 miles of distance. Some people have never run that in their lives, and that in and of itself is a challenge, let alone adding 2 obstacles per mile into that. So I think that sense of what the brand is and what our product is, that is the definition of it, that it is something that you have to tackle, and it is a challenge, and the best way to get through challenges in life is to do it with people that you care about, and to do it with a team of people that believe in each other. And I think 95% of people actually register for the event as part of a team, and we allow them to do that from the onset. So when you go to purchase your ticket, if you've got one friend, you guys can be a team. If you've got 20 friends, you guys are a team as well. And so we encourage from that Eventbrite registration for us to be able to go in and say, I'm going to select to be part of Tough Mudders who are running, and they're going to challenge themselves to get together and do something different with their friends and get through it together, and really know that it's about a physical and mental challenge as well as stamina and teamwork. And you need to work together to make sure that you're completing the course. And from the brand perspective, from the obstacle design, we integrate that across all elements of the experience from the moment that you show up on site, as well as then from the way that we speak to people from an event platform and registration platform.
Totally. Now, you mentioned that Tough Mudder is for a wider variety of audiences, runners. What are some steps that you've taken to make Tough Mudder even more accessible to a wider variety of teams? So I understand, for example, you're rolling out the Tough Mudder half. Maybe speak to us a little bit about how you're implementing that into the Tough Mudder half to have a more variety of teams that are participating.
Yeah, and like I just referenced, we believe that with the right amount of training, anybody can take part in Tough Mudder. And we could have chosen to make the event as hard as we wanted. We could have made Funky Monkey 50% longer, Everest 40% higher, but the tough part of our jobs is to produce an event that is the right balance of challenging and rewarding and something where participants can push themselves further than they ever have before. And what we recognized is that Tough Mudder half will be able to bring more people into the Mudder community and create something that is a challenge for them. 5 miles can be a challenge for someone, absolutely, and we want to make sure that we in this community are essentially allowing people to challenge themselves in whatever way that is. And I think Tough Mudder half is a great place for us to do that. Some people might find that, yes, Tough Mudder full in 10 to 12 miles is the right challenge for them, but they might have a friend that they really wanted to run with them and they couldn't because that friend just wasn't ready for it. So for us to be able to say Tough Mudder half might be the place that your friend or your teammate that couldn't make that Tough Mudder with you or maybe wasn't ready for it, will be able to find that same sense of accomplishment and challenge in a Tough Mudder half format. It's also something that people have really been asking for a long time, and I think we really took our time to get it right and to roll it out at the right time for our product and our brand. And you're going to see a lot of really key obstacles in that Tough Mudder half, and it will be the right and appropriate challenge for people. And I know a lot of our Mudder Legion community is very excited about it, and they're going to use that as a way to continue to grow the Mudder Nation brand that we've established with them.
Got it. Do you allow for team members to participate in different distances?
Yep, so anybody can register for a Tough Mudder half or a Tough Mudder. So if you wanted to register for both, absolutely. There's no limitation on which event format you want to choose, and maybe you want to start with the Tough Mudder half, and then sometime later in the season you want to keep training and then go for normal Tough Mudder. That's absolutely okay, and we absolutely would encourage that as well.
Got it. Got it. Now let's talk a little bit about timed and untimed. I understand Tough Mudder chose to go untimed. How does that impact team participation? Why did you go untimed?
So I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that whether it's your first Tough Mudder or your 25th, it is not a race and it's a challenge, and that is uniquely what sets us apart from other events. Camaraderie and helping your fellow Mudders comes before all else. They say it in the Tough Mudder pledge before they go out on that event day every single time they come to a Tough Mudder. It is not something that we care about how long it takes you to finish. If it takes you 2 hours and you're going to run 2 laps in that day and that's your version of that challenge, that's one thing. But if it takes you 6 hours and you feel accomplished and you're able to do that with your team, that's what it's all about for us. And we care that you pushed yourself physically and mentally and you've accomplished something great and you've given it your best. That's what our brand is about. And I think in enabling teams to really own that message and get together and make sure that they're really pushing themselves in whatever way that makes sense for their specific team, they're going to get the most out of it because they know what that looks like for them. And for us, if it was a timed race, it's really difficult because you get a team of 20 people, the skill set, the fitness levels, all of that is very different when you're looking at a team of 20, 30, 40 people sometimes. If we had gone down a timed route, we wouldn't see that level of participation from a team side because realistically, you could have someone who's running 7-minute miles regularly at the gym and you could have someone who's doing 10 or 12-minute miles. And like I've referenced a few times, it really is about that challenge for yourself and knowing what that is for you. And so enabling, or for us to have the ability to essentially say, look, we don't care as long as it's something that's really unique and different and special and challenging for you and your team. Finish in 6 hours. We'll be there at the finish line with a beer for you. So I think that's essentially what our community feels like they value, and the reason why we see so many teams registering. And essentially it encourages more people to get involved and do something they might not do alone as well. A lot of people run a straight marathon or a race by themselves, and I don't think that's not necessarily what people come to Tough Mudder for. They come to do it as a part of a community and to do it as a part of a team.
Makes total sense. I love it. I mean, I can imagine it's just that much more fulfilling to get to the finish line strong as a group, rather than being able to say, oh, I ran it in an hour or whatever a good time might be.
There's also a lot of people, if you did show up on your own, you come out with 30 best friends by the end of the Tough Mudder. I mean, It is essentially, we definitely do see people who register on their own, and the one really surprising thing to the kind of ultra competitive people who just want to come to Tough Mudder to check it out, and they're kind of scoping it out, and they might go for it and really start to push themselves or push their pace. What they come to realize is we design our obstacles so that you need a team to finish half of them sometimes. And so it is very much a conscious decision for us in the way that we design our events and the way that our product team designs really innovative obstacles to make sure that that's at the forefront of our event, because we want people to interact on that level. And I think, in this day and age, it's a world that doesn't necessarily have opportunities to do that much. And for us to be able to create an event that really promotes that type of interaction and getting outside and getting dirty and doing something you would never get to do with a group of friends or a bunch of strangers. I mean, I've run 4 Tough Mudders myself, and I've started them with one group and ended them with another, and in the end you all go to the Shock Top Beer Garden and have a beer together. So it's a really unique experience, and I think having that kind of team spirit throughout all phases of our event design is kind of the most important piece to make sure that it's being consistently delivered across all of our events around the world.
Absolutely. Now, okay, you design the event. When you think about the different obstacles, you're thinking that team participation, team spirit. How do you keep that team spirit going even after the race? What are some things you do for that?
So we have what's called Mudder Village. It's where people come through when they register during the day of. We've got a Shock Top Beer Garden. They're a great partner for us. So they've got a big beer garden where you can sample beers. You obviously get a beer as a part of your finish experience. So we give you a beer after the finish line to say congratulations, and you can toast with your team and your friends. We have mudders from all over the world that have developed lifelong friendships. There's tons of social media and community groups that people form before and after the event. I've seen groups of people who've met as volunteers for our event who then run the event the next day together, and they're carpooling and they're going and planning a post party with us afterwards. So it's a pretty active social community, and we allow that to happen obviously in that Mudder Village space. We've got great music, lots of really good food trucks and food options, and we really encourage our partners to get involved in kind of creating unique activations to keep people on site and to keep them engaged. There's lots of fun activities to do. We have Fruit Shoot Mini Mudder for the little kids, so if families are coming or teams of families and mom or dad have a group of kids, there's the Fruit Shoot Mini Mudder experience for them to experience, going through a little smaller version of a Tough Mudder as teams as well there. So it really allows us to continue to get people together and ensure that they're able to kind of stick around and revisit all of their experiences that they had on course. We offer free photography as well, so people who are out on course and they're coming back and they're like, oh my God, do you remember that guy? Like, I want to get his bib number and find out who I was running with. He really helped me get up Everest. Like, he pulled my leg up and I made it. You hear that all the time in Mudder Village, and I think that's a really special place for us to really enhance kind of the village experience. It's called Mudder Village for a reason. It's a community space, and it's something that we really try to engage with in our design process.
Love it. I can't wait to participate in the next one. I promise you. When are you coming to San Diego? All right, so now I suspect there's some people, some viewers that are looking to get started on event operations. What is the best piece of advice you can give someone that's looking to get started in event operations for the first time?
Expect the unexpected, number one.
That's a good one.
Be ready to sacrifice a lot, and that's really honest. I mean, I think you can be on the road. I mean, part of being in event ops is travel. I personally this year have been on the road over 150 days. So we're based in Brooklyn here, and I've definitely spent less than 50% of my year home. It's been a busy year for us, which is great and very exciting, but I think, you have to be prepared to be able to pick up your life and go. And, event dates don't change. We have a very hard deadline every time, and you have to be able to recognize you need to do what it takes to make it happen. You have to be able to work on a plane, in a train, on a laptop, in the front seat of a truck, getting used to kind of varying working conditions, be it even our venue sites. We might be on a beautiful mountain in Colorado. We could also be on, in a cow pasture in Texas. Those are two very real scenarios and two really amazing opportunities to be able to design in. And I think realistically for us, it's something that you just have to get used to. And I think across many event spaces, be it, a corporate event in a great hotel, it could be really complicated in its own right. And I think being able to recognize that you're going to have to sacrifice and you're going to have to be the one to adapt to varying conditions is something that has helped me really push myself through the kind of various levels of events, and knowing that there's going to be long nights, there's going to be sleepless nights, but that's what it takes, and we are seasonal for a reason, and we get some time to recover eventually. But knowing that that is something that is an expectation in this business is something that I think needs to be known by people who are walking into it. But as hard as you work, it is incredibly rewarding. And I think working at Tough Mudder for me, I've been here for 3 years. I came from the Olympics in London for 2 years and in Vancouver for a year. So I came from kind of big, large scale events, and coming into Tough Mudder has really shown me how much I value that type of on the road with a family almost. You get used to this group of people who you're producing incredible life-changing experiences with for other people, and not a lot of people get to do that for a living. So having a realization of that on a regular basis is pretty special. So if you're crazy enough to get into it, just know it's coming for you.
Absolutely. So that's a great piece of advice. Expect the unexpected, be flexible, and be able to adapt to different situations, different locations. Maybe another one is get a credit card that racks up miles, right?
Also that, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sky miles are a very, very important piece of the business.
Fantastic. Well, for those that are viewing us right now, if you haven't participated in a Tough Mudder event yet, maybe it's time for you to consider it. Obviously, they've done a fantastic job, and as you heard, there are all types of options for different levels of fitness. You can participate and challenge yourself individually or as a team. Courtney, it's been a pleasure having you in the show today. We look forward to having you again in the near future. For everyone that's watching, this is Ask an Event Pro every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. Pacific or at 2:15 a.m. Eastern. Courtney, thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Have a good day.